Hi, my name is xCloud, and I will be reading off a document against a 13-year-old YouTuber named Blue Peppino. He has been a thorn in my side for months now, and this is information that have come up and been compiled together recently, so we can finally expose him for these actions that have caused me so many problems between me and my friends. This document was written by Mr. Green and GamerGames1000, and with assistance from Mood. I know all of them on Discord, and they don't go harass anyone ever mentioned in this video, not even Blue Peppino, no matter how depraved he may be. Here are the lesser important actions that he's done. He's been shitting on a Pizza Tower mod called D-Side Laps, which was made by Mr. Green, and he did it for seemingly no reason, and it's possibly in response to an incident that will be mentioned later. It is a 4-second video which shows the thumbnail of the mod while having text after it that says, "Bro, this shit is ass, I swear." I don't know. It is sloppy. It is lazy. It has no actual criticism. It is childish, at the very least. And it shows the sheer incompetence this 13-year-old has. And it's another reason why this kid should not even be on the internet. Gamer Games notes on the screenshot, "Bro would have fell off, but he was never on." Mood notes, "This might not be important right now, but will be eventually." Exactly. I will not be reading every single note, as some of them will make things unserious and will ruin the actual professionalism. Blue Peppino has annoyed Mr. Green in Reddit DMs. In this screenshot, it shows a GIF Mr. Green post about people who be desperate for attention. It's basically a way to show that, hey, dude, you're acting desperate. Stop doing that. And Blue Peppino only posts an emoji with closed eyes and a straight mouth, as if in annoyance. And then he copies and pastes countless times saying, "Give me playtest build for D-Side Laps," over and over and over. And this is just straight up harassment. Mr. Green doesn't say anything, I don't believe. And Blue Peppino just doesn't stop, and it's genuinely horrible. And Mood notes, "This is the eventually that was mentioned earlier." Yeah, that video that Blue Peppino made was probably in response to Mr. Green rejecting him for the playtesting. Blue Peppino has crashed out over the lightest misunderstanding ever, and this really shows him being a 13-year-old. Or, hell, this would probably make him look like an 11-year-old. But I should probably mention at this time he was 12. In this screenshot, it shows a screenshot within the screenshot, which I can't really read. Mr. Green says, "Did you already finish the stream? If you want proof, then get Discord on browser. It's free, plus non-extra app." Blue Peppino says in all caps, in a seemingly angry tone, "Did you fucking forget I'm 12, not 13, dumbass?" And Mr. Green says, "Reddit is 13 plus, so your point is false." And then Blue Peppino says, "Bro, please send me more pics of you explaining to Gamer I'm not about to be fucking accused of something I didn't fucking do." And Mr. Green, totally not taking this seriously with him because he's 12. Mr. Green says, "No fucking need to be so paranoid about it." And then Blue Peppino says, "Look here, dumbass. I give credit when I see you use a sprite. I don't fucking steal it and say it's mine." Look, by the way, that's not how credit works. You have to ask the artist if you're going to use it. You can't just credit it and call it a day. I've learned that the hard way. And it's truly stupid to just, not do anything about that. You're just going to credit them and that's it. This is a problem Blue Peppino will later have to deal with when he posts more videos. He says, I'm not fucking Green Dude PT the second. We'll see about that, buddy. And he says, I give credit. I don't fucking steal. I'm not Blue Guy PT. My name is Blue. Please, it's not that fucking hard to mix us up, idiot. Like that has any pertinence on the situation? In the next screenshot, it shows another screenshot from Discord within this screenshot. And object underscore name says, seems like an alt of Blue Dude PT, so yes, I guess. And then Mr. Green in the screenshot says, that's not him. And then object name posts an emoji of Snick, whatever. Blue Dude PT says in the Reddit DMs, I don't get it. The fuck is this supposed to prove, asshole? Also, I reported Blue Guy PT on YouTube. Like, that's supposed to do anything with YouTube's shit reporting system? Mr. Green says, don't fucking make me. Blue Peppino says, either that's gonna help or not. I don't know what that's gonna do to Blue Guy. Don't fucking make you what? And then Blue Peppino says later, yo, do you forgive me, bro? This is like kicking someone in the shins and asking them for $10. Like, what the hell? Blue Peppino, are you actually stupid? Like, on to the next category, the somewhat important ones. Him doing, right. So, Blue Peppino was replying to a post with some slightly suggestive art. Don't harass anyone. Don't harass the person who made the art. Don't harass Blue Peppino. But here, Blue Peppino replies to the art with, I won't say anything, but wow, and 3 flushed emojis. It's, does not give him a good look at all here. Especially since he's 13, at the best here. Still doesn't help his case. In the next screenshot, it has a note from Mr. Green that says, I know what you are. And in the screenshot, we have a person saying on the original post with the art, saying, watch out, dude, the mans are going to goon. And then Blue Peppino replies with another flushed face, like, you're 13, and for all I know, this is serious. You're being serious about this. You are actually a degenerate. In the next screenshot, oh, no. This shows his unacceptable, this shows his unacceptable behavior, publicly. I'm sorry, I had to cut there. In this next screenshot, Blue Peppino says, this is going to be embarrassing to read, but Blue Peppino says, are you still sad, Pookie? That is not a thing. So, I've talked to Blue Peppino's friends, and one of his friends has said that Blue Peppino calls all his friends that, and they just thought it was normal, even though it is very much not, and I've made sure that they now know that's not normal. You don't call them that. And Blue Peppino's just being a weirdo here. He says, are you still sad, Pookie? Do you want hugs? Here you go. Hugs with 5 hugging emojis. And I must mention something. I've had DMs with Blue Peppino, but I've been fake nice to him so I could get possibly some information from him. And we talked about a person named Sophia92 who had her own situation, but he mentioned something about how the way she talks, where she tries to have proper grammar and ... like she's an anime character practically, and types out her actions and stuff. Right here, Blue Peppino said he didn't like the way she talked there, but right here he's like being an absolute hypocrite and just, wow, he lied to me straight through his teeth. And then the next person here, again, don't harass them. They said, thanks, ... And then Blue Peppino says, no problem, Pookie. I love you lots. And don't be sad forever. You still have your besties to cheer you up. And if you ever need to talk to me, I'm right here, okay? And sure, yeah, that's encouragement, but still, you called them Pookie, which is not okay. The person replied with, yeah, ... Blue Peppino says, just remember that, okay? The screenshot here, the person replying to him is not at fault. He's at fault here for calling them Pookie, even though he's 13, and the other person is from what I've gathered, 13 to 14. And, Gamer Games note, he said, I'm pretty sure minors shouldn't be calling each other Pookie, and even if that's allowed, it's weird as fuck. Exactly. Oh, and we have a pocket note here from what I gathered, the name is Pocket Snick on Discord. He said, I'm a part of the Forsaken community, and trust me, when a guy has a 2-time PFP, he's either a Sponus or a corn addict. No in between. Only some people have 2-time PFP, and they're actually sane. That's not really related, but that's not really a reason to harass them or make fun of them. In the next screenshot, it's about him suicide baiting. Suicide baiting is something that should not be joked about or talked about in the slightest. You should not do something like this. For being suicidal is a real genuine problem that people deal with. And here, he's treating it like a joke. Seriously, I've had problems dealing with my own mental sanity. Not mental sanity, but, like, dealing with my own mind. And it hasn't been confirmed to be depression, but I don't want to call it so, because it doesn't matter. It's not about me. This is about Blue Peppino. He suicide baited, and it's, like, super stupid and badly executed here. And he just treats it like a joke. And in here, he says, thoughts in parentheses like this is some fucking character AI goddamn interaction. He said, I honestly think I'm a bad friend, and I don't even know how I'm still friends with you guys at this point. Y'all should just forget about me. And then he posts an image about Peppino Spaghetti loading pasta into a gun, and then he pointed at himself saying pasta la vista, like this is something serious and not a meme image. Like, he's treating this like a joke. And then the person down here, Blue Starbs, do not, I keep saying this, but do not harass anybody. That's the last time I will say it. Blue Starbs says, your thoughts are liars, and they're just trying to be a good friend. They don't really know who Blue Peppino is, so that's fine. Blue Peppino says, well, that's a lie. They're the truth. Blue Starbs says, one thing about me, I never lie. Blue Peppino says, I call on bullshit. What does that even mean? You could just say bullshit. You don't have to say I call on bullshit. That doesn't make sense. Blue Starb says, whatever you wish to believe in. Blue Peppino says, that's why I'm going to kill myself in 5. And he counts down from 5 to 0. Like this is some kind of dramatic movie. This is not a movie. This is not a joke. You're treating it completely unseriously. What the fuck are you doing? He says, 0. Goodbye, everyone. It's been nice while it's lasted. He's just grasping at attention because he's a greedy fucking pig. Blue Starb says, don't you dare, Blue. Blue Peppino says, it's been nice while it lasted. Bye-bye, Ava, and all my other amazing friends. He says amazing friends, like, you know, dude, I'm just not gonna say it. Blue Starb says, Blue, bro Chacho, don't do it. Bro Chacho makes it way less serious. If someone's genuinely struggling, don't just say bro Chacho. Blue Starb says, don't do it. You've got a whole life ahead of you, so live it. That is true for many cases, yeah. Blue Peppino says, look, I love you and my other friends as well, so again, goodbye. Blue Starb says, you're not leaving us. Blue Peppino says, and why the fuck not? Blue Starb says, don't do anything you will regret. You've got friends and family who care about you, so you can have a bright future. Just keep fighting, stay strong. That's genuinely good, that's genuinely good advice. You could definitely give that to someone who is actually struggling, unlike Blue Peppino. Blue Peppino says, the only type of regrets I have is telling you and Grace about my fetish. Look, I watched Galaxer's video on the Blue Peppino document, and I agree with him where he talks about this one line here. A fetish is something you need to keep to yourself. That is not something you tell people about. And you're 12, or at the best 13 here. So there's no point to tell anyone about something like that. Blue Starb says, don't worry about that too much, my man. Blue Peppino says, well, I am, and I still want to kill myself over it. Look, that's something, you can say you want to kill yourself, but you can't bait someone into thinking that you are actually going to do it. That's not okay. Blue Starb says, it was best to get it off your chest. And then Blue Peppino says, well, you know how I say I'm a bad friend, and I literally just proved, yeah, Ava, you should literally just go to sleep and just let me delete myself at this point. Why would you even cry over a horrible person like me? The fact that he says delete myself, even though he has outright said kill myself before, is so annoying. Buddy, this isn't like a TikTok video where you have to censor every little word you say. And this is not serious. He's taking it completely unseriously. In the next screenshot, it shows art that's self-deprecating, where it's just him drawing. He drew himself, and it has an arrow pointing to him that says dumbass, bad artist, and fat ass. Like this means anything. And then he posts the fucking Peppino spaghetti pasta la vista image again, and then he says, don't mind me while I shoot myself, and he cuts himself off like this is something he's actually doing in real time. This is so stupid, and he probably doesn't even have any access to a firearm. Knowing him, his parents don't seem like the type to have. Speaking of which, where the fuck are this kid's parents? This kid has internet access at 12 and 13. Where are his parents? His parents should have seen any of this and taken him off the internet immediately. Stuff like this is the result of neglectful parents who just disregard their children or just throw them in front of the screen so they don't have to deal with them. Seriously, why are some parents in the world like this? Stuff like this needs to be fixed. I've been lucky enough to not to have parents like that, so I can actually become a competent person in life. But seriously, where are this kid's parents? Blue Peppino says in the next screenshot, I have made some art, but I don't want to show you. Blue Starb says, well, if you don't want it, then don't do so. Blue Peppino says, honestly, I'm just going to show it. And it's just art, horribly made art about how he draws himself with like a gun next to it or whatever. His character is dead, I think. I don't know. It's really weird. And in the next screenshot, Blue Starb says, not in the next screenshot, Blue Starb says, no, I actually think you should start making vent art like this whenever you're feeling down. It can really help you. Just don't actually do anything you may draw. Now, that is good advice. That is not something I do myself because it just makes me feel silly, but that is genuine advice you could give someone. That is good advice that you could genuinely use. And okay, in the next topic, he's blamed Galaxers for not only the completely wrong thing, but also lying about it as well. So, in Galaxer's video, he says himself that hold on, no, let me read the screenshot first. Blue Peppino says, yeah, but about Galax, don't call him Galax, it's Galaxers. He only lets friends call themselves Galax, because he's told people about that. He thinks I haven't changed, and honestly, I don't care because he didn't accept me for being a femboy. So if he doesn't think I can change, then he can fuck off. First of all, nobody would fucking think that. Nobody in their right mind would do something like that. That is something so petty and so moronic that you can nitpick about them for. And even worse, Galaxers never even did that. If you look at Galaxer's video, he provides a screenshot where he replied to art of Blue Peppino with like a femboyish outfit, I believe. And all he said was that, yeah, that's good, I believe. I'm just going off of memory. I don't have the actual screenshot. But yeah, that's all he did. He lied about Galaxers not accepting him over a femboy thing. First of all, I think it's just good that if you accept anyone how they are, which Galaxers does, by the way, and Blue Peppino's just trying to find a reason to hate somebody, and it's so stupid. And here's a big one. Before, he said he wasn't Green Dude PT the second. This proves it. He's stolen other people's videos, not only without permission, but he also slaps a bunch of CapCut effects on it, just like spitting in the original creator's face. He's just a character, man. He's just a character. Look, like I said before, you have to ask the original creator instead of just crediting them. And in this screenshot, it says, I'm lapping on my null, which lap null is something from a mod called lap minus, which I worked on for a year. And that's what the video was about. And in the first line of the description of that video, it says vid from Cheesy. It's not even Blue Peppino's video. And I did actually talk to Cheesy. And Cheesy said Blue Peppino did ask for permission, but did not wait for him to confirm to actually upload the video. So I still think that's stealing. And in the next screenshot, we have Floral the gal right here says, Lamau, there's no way. And then Mr. Green says, alright, I asked him to do it on Reddit, specifically because he doesn't accept DMs from non-friends unless he blocked me. Hopefully he doesn't go off topic. And then Mr. Green posts a screenshot where Blue Peppino says, well, I did what you said. The video's deleted. I guess you can tell that to Floral. And then the next screenshot shows the video being deleted. So good. There's some good news. There's some good news there. And oh my god, my voice. Miscellaneous. These are screenshots from whatever we can find that don't pertain to a specific topic. It's either him just being a degenerate or just an asshole in general for no reason. Right here, in this screenshot, Blue Peppino refers to PETA, or how he's really called Peter. Peter is someone named Peppino Spaghetti, or Peppino Spaghetti, trust me, on Discord and YouTube. That person has a whole nother can of worms where there's harassment, zoophilia, there's a bunch of stuff about that guy. And here, Blue Peppino says, I don't fucking care about Peter. He ain't my friend anymore. Hell, I wouldn't even care if his girlfriend left him. He could be lonely for all I care. I hate Peter. And then Fia Gamer here is Sophia92. Don't forget that. Sophia92 is Fia Gamer. Also, Snick.exe is Blue Peppino. Just remember that. That's just him for Halloween on an alt account. And Sophia, I need to explain my history with Sophia. So, I was friends with Sophia for a while until a bunch of drama started going on around her. Then I stopped being friends with her. But when I was friends with her, I saw her as a very nice, very kind person. And what Blue Peppino does to her caused a lot of problems for me and her, because I genuinely thought she was a nice person, and it really hurt her, and it hurt me to see her so far in pain. Anyways, that was like the first part of me hating Blue Peppino. Sophia says, and why do you hate him? Blue Peppino says, he's an asshole. Sophia says, from when? And right here, Blue Peppino says, this N-word. He has the N-word on full display, and from what I know, Blue Peppino is black, but it's still, he uses it in a way that's hateful, and that's not really acceptable, I don't think. Not in my eyes at all. Blue Peppino says, for some reason, got mad at me. And then Sophia says, but you really need to stop this obsession someday. You will get in trouble too. And then Blue Peppino says, you think you've been through worse stuff? I actually went in a room and saw my parents having sex. I was a fucking toddler. That shit was not okay for me. So, there's a lot of things you can unpack with that. First of all, you were a toddler. You probably haven't even figured out object permanence yet. And second of all, you can't. How do you come up with this stuff, man? How are you, actually so moronic to come up with something like this? Using childhood trauma to act like you went through horrible things? You're doing horrible things. You're causing the horrible trauma for people. You're actually the horrible person here. Seriously. And in discussions I've had with Sophia, she said she labeled that as childhood trauma, which is still stupid. And Blue Peppino just uses that as his way of, as a way of getting his way. In this next screenshot, it has Blue Peppino posting a GIF that says womp womp. Blue Peppino posts a lot of GIFs just to try to add to his dramatic power or whatever, which does the opposite effect in every case, and it's so stupid. He says, "Look, I care about you, but I don't care about Payne. That's it." Payne, as in referring to Penguin, who is the owner of a now canceled Pizza Tower reskin mod called Lap Hell Pizza Pursuit Nightmare Edition or Hellscape, and it was sadly canceled, but it was due to a lot of drama that hurt Penguin. And right here, Blue Peppino just shows that he feels absolutely zero remorse for what he's saying. He doesn't care about Penguin at all, and it's like, seriously, can you not have an ounce of sympathy for someone like that? Do you not have any empathy at all? And in this next screenshot, it is DMs with me and one of Blue Peppino's friends. And here, they say, when he confessed that he liked me in a different way, he wanted to do a role play. And this is something awful. In the screenshot they sent, they say, I'm going to call him Ange, or Ang, or whatever. Ang Dog says, roleplay and other weird shit, like how so? Blue Peppino says in the screenshot, like say, we did roleplay. I don't want to take the shit too far that it turns into this. And then he shows a screenshot of the definition of erotic roleplay, which is totally what it would have turned into if they said yes. Seriously. This guy is not to be trusted. This guy is a dangerous, manipulative individual. He said, so I just want to make sure I don't make you uncomfortable. And then Ang Dog says, yeah, I don't want to do that. This is seriously something, like, why would you do this? Why would you ask this from someone? When you read the screenshot, it makes it all the more disturbing that he calls his friends Pookies, and he says he loves them. This puts it all in a new light. This is so weird. And in the next screenshot, Ang Dog says, I was like, what the fuck? And I said, oh my god, thank god you didn't say yes, because that totally would have turned sexual at some point. And yeah, it was like horrifying to read. Like, I couldn't believe my eyes. Ang Dog says, I'm glad I said no, because I genuinely found that uncomfortable. Crazy thing is, I'm older than him. Ang Dog is 16, and Blue Peppino is 13 at the time, which was like yesterday as of recording this. Crazy thing is, I'm older than him, and I don't know if he knows, but like, why me? I genuinely found it weird that he liked me. In the whole conversation that I've talked with Ang Dog, they talked about how, Blue Peppino often said they loved them and treated them differently, like, with others, and he said he wanted to call Ang Dog a lover at some point, which definitely, Blue Peppino was, like, commonly making Ang Dog uncomfortable, from what I've gathered, and it's like, wow, this guy just has no conscience. Like, dude, this guy is not living in the real world. Next screenshot, I said, you can tell I got a little heated. It was like me talking about my old recording. I have an old recording reading this doc. And here, Ang Dog says, it's okay, man. It's just, I don't know what to feel about him anymore. Like, I just feel so dumb because of him. Why he treats me and others better than specific other people. And then I said, that feels like a way to manipulate someone. Make them feel special, then try to get what you want from them, such as a roleplay. Do you see what I mean now? And Ang Dog says, yeah, I get what you mean. So here, there are a lot of ways to manipulate, but here, Blue Peppino just loves to take advantage of people's kindness, like you will see in the rock bottom. And here, let me read off the document. All right. Blue Peppino is well known for being a weirdo, but the screenshots provided below are very, very gross. You have been warned. And Gamer Games notes, the things Blue Peppino did that are illegal. Here, if you really don't like mentions of and all that stuff, just try to get away from that. Here, in these screenshots, it is him wanting Sophia92, a 33-year-old woman, to share nudes with him. See, a thing is, Sophia92 did actually comply eventually through lots of harassment or whatever, and still that's not acceptable considering she's a 33-year-old woman and she should know to just block him. But anyways, we're not here for Sophia. At this time, Sophia92 is going through a lot of stuff, so the profile picture will be black and the name will be ... It's Disregard that. In the first screenshot, Blue Peppino says, I just want to be happy, and seeing your body always makes me happy, and hey, you're the adult here. Blue Peppino tries to find every single little reason to not have to go onto some kind of corn website or whatever. And Blue Peppino says, at this point, adults expose themselves all the time. This is so disgusting. And he says, so you should be fine with it. And if you're not, I don't care. Just show me the photo. So pick. And then he types out sigh with a rolling eyes emoji, completely making it unserious. And Sophia says, what the hell is wrong with you, Bluey? What the... And in the next screenshot, Sophia says, why do you want the photo so much? Why? Blue Peppino says, because I love you. I love you so much, and I want the photos like that. I just love you, okay? Damn. This kid... I don't think I even need to say why this is so fucked up. Look, just read this and tell me he isn't, like, twisted. What the hell is this? In the next screenshot, he says, it's either you show me some photos or our friendship is over. Which one is it? I don't even know anymore. And then he types out sigh again. This is the main thing of his argument. He just threatens his friendship with Sophia, and that's it. And apparently, for Sophia, that's enough. And the next screenshot, Blue Peppino says, the photos, okay? Is this what you wanted to hear? And then he posted an Angry Birds movie gif. Like I said earlier, he just loves to do that so he can add, like, maybe more dramatic effect to his messages, but it does the complete opposite. He says, it says, I want to see a picture, and then he says, it's the photos. Sophia says, what else except from that? Blue Peppino says, nothing else, just the photos. That's all I want, okay? Just show me the photos and I'll be, I guess he'd say, and I'll be happy. And then in another screenshot, he says, it means that friendship of yours is going to be, and then a gif from something, I don't know what the hell that is, and it says, I'll tear it apart. It doesn't fit with the sentence at all. So it's even worse. Blue Peppino says, so what is it, Sophia? Either the photos or I'm done with you. And the next screenshot, Blue Peppino says, so are you going to do it? And South posts a South Park gif saying, you know what? Let's just get this over with. And Blue Peppino says, I'm sorry to say this, but I just want the photos. And then it's posts a Family Guy gif saying, I want it. Like, look, Blue Peppino, this is not something friends do for each other. Friends don't do this. If you want to do something like this, go online. You clearly have internet access. You don't have to go to a 33-year-old woman to do this yourself. What the fuck are you doing? In the next screenshot, Blue Peppino says, if you can't just take the time I gave you to decide, then I'll just pick for myself, and I know which one I'll pick. And Sophia says, oh my, ... And Blue Peppino says, so what now? And then Sophia says, why are you doing this, Bluey? Why? And that's the end of that initial incident. That was the original incident back in September. But it continues in like nearly exactly a month. And he's continuing his rampage, still wanting the photos even after clear rejection. Mood notes, Sophia herself is a bad person, but right now, Blue is the one being a little bitch. Exactly. Alright, and these screenshots are actually provided from Sophia, from a conversation I had with her, so this is where Sophia is actually coming in clutch. Here, Blue Peppino says, no, rolling eyes emoji, you just don't care, huh? Okay then. Not Blue Peppino. Sophia says, Blue, calm down please, it's not that I don't care, it's just, I don't want to get in trouble again. Come in my position and understand how I feel. I should mention something. Sophia is Greek, I believe, so her English will not be perfect, so if I stumble on my words because she messes up her speaking, it's whatever. Blue Peppino says, what do you think I'm gonna do? In the next screenshot, what do you think I'm gonna do? What kind of person do you think I am? I clearly think, Blue Peppino, you are a fucking greedy shithead. Sophia says, look, you are a good person, but I don't want to do weird stuff. After what happened, I don't want to repeat that mistake again. Blue Peppino says, I'm not going to do anything like you think I'm going to tell someone what you did. You're not repeating any mistake. And in the next screenshot, Sophia says, no, I trust you, but no. And the answer will be a no, and it will still be a no. Blue Peppino says, like completely disregarding it. He doesn't care for her feelings. He is being utterly, like, unremorseful. And it seems here he still wants photos. He still wants photos here. And it's like, why? Why? And I should mention DMs I had with Cheesy, another friend of Blue Peppino's, where Cheesy was confronting Blue Peppino about the photos, and Blue Peppino says in the screenshot Cheesy sent me, he says, I'm not that type of person anymore. And right here, he said that yesterday, which would be October 25th, I believe. Yeah, October 24th, not 25th. And it's just like DMs, these are screenshots for DMs from this month, October. And like, why? Seriously, he's lying through his teeth. He is still that type of person. He is still unremorseful. Sophia goes on a... In the next screenshot, Blue Peppino says, I'm only asking for one thing. It's not that hard. Sophia says, yes, to expose myself and to send you photos so you to be happy, but you forget that this brought me into the position that I'm now. Blue Peppino says, well, you never showed your body for real, so why do you care so much about not giving the photos to me? So it doesn't matter. This guy is so exhausting. The next screenshot, Sophia brings up a good point. Blue, if you want to do weird stuff, go and explore it on the internet alone, but leave me out of this. Literally, if Blue Peppino hadn't done that, Sophia would be in less trouble than she would actually already be in. And then Blue Peppino says, well, I get, like, Sophia says a lot of things, but I'm not going to read it all out. Blue Peppino says, well, I guess if I report your YouTube channel, that won't do anything. Well, shit. Blue Peppino threatens her YouTube channel just to get her to do anything. Like, dude, you've already lost your power in this situation. You are an awful human being. And you still, like, when I DM'd Blue Peppino, he was being all nice and stuff and whatever, because he looked up to me, and I'm just like, seriously, with the things he did, he should have admitted something like that, like, up front. But no, he did dog shit nothing. He was just being nice and whatever. It's like as if he's just didn't do it at all, which is completely false. And in this next screenshot, Sophia, like, pours her heart out to him, and then all he says is, I'm sorry. And Sophia says, oh, you suddenly feel sorry? And Blue Peppino says something that's blocked, and Sophia also says something. So from here, you could guess that Blue Peppino just says, I'm sorry, and he, like, blocks her, which is something apparently Blue Peppino likes to do when someone makes him face his actions. So the end of the screenshots is here, but the story doesn't end here. Today, on Saturday, October 25th, I and a bunch of other friends confronted him about his actions that are all listed in this document. And all he did when I confronted him about how much I hated him and how awful his actions are, and I told him to face his actions, all he did was block me. He blocked me and all the people he had contact with that knew about his actions. And it goes even further than that. When I went on YouTube and posted comments telling him to stop, to not block us, to not mute us, to not silence us, and that he can't run from his actions, he just deleted the comments. Which is something he likes to do, by the way. On the D-Side Labs video, where everybody was just posting a comment of okay, which is, you could say that's harassment, but it's just like a joke, so it's not that big of a deal. Blue Peppino just deleted all the comments because he didn't like the joke. He didn't get the joke. He clearly does not understand that he has to face the actions he does. He does. Like, but the situation continued. Eventually we broke him down enough that he'll actually face his actions. We'll see what happens, but for now he has not faced his actions entirely yet. He's only made a couple community posts, covering only one or a few of the actions he's done. And, like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it at all. He doesn't understand. He's still a 13-year-old that's fucked up. Blue Peppino, if you're watching this, I hate you. I hate you for what you've done to me and what you've caused for my friends. You are a person who's made me more mad than I've ever been in so long. You are seriously a horrible person, and I suggest you leave the internet. Go grow up and become a better person for the love of God. Do something to make yourself better as a person. Seriously. That's all I have to offer. I hope this video provided some good insight, and if you're curious, go watch Galaxer's video on his coverage of the situation. It is a good video. You should go watch that. And from what I know, there will be another Exposing Blue Peppino video that will be released by someone else, and I will link that in the comments if when it comes out. I'll best be going now. This is the last I hope to be interacting with the PT community. This is just someone I've hated ever since I was in the PT community, and this is hopefully the last public interaction I'll have to have with it.